What if the world you knew was suddenly disappearing right before your eyes? No, we're not talking about an apocalypse. We're talking about countries ditching the US for BRICS. Sounds crazy, right? But guess what? This is happening in 2025, and it's shaking up the global order. The world has seen many significant events recently, and today we'll delve into a major geopolitical transformation unfolding right now. Stick with us as we explore these developments, and we'll provide our conclusions at the end of the video. We encourage you to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. It truly helps us grow and bring you more content like this. Also, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. You might think countries would never turn their back on the US, but as tensions rise and global power shifts, more nations are joining forces with Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Why? And what does this mean for America? Stay tuned because some of these nations' reasons will leave you shocked. Let's jump into the 10 countries leaving the US for BRICS in 2025. Please understand that video thumbnails are created to attract attention and may not always reflect the actual content. They are creative representations designed to engage viewers. We appreciate your understanding and hope you enjoy the video. While we strive to provide accurate and valuable information, this video is intended for reference and educational purposes only. The content reflects a collection of viewpoints and insights, selectively gathered from articles, social media posts, public forums, news sites, and online discussions. We do not claim absolute accuracy, nor is this video intended as an official or authoritative source. Viewers are encouraged to conduct their own research, compare information from multiple trusted sources, and approach all online content, including this one, with a critical and discerning mindset. This video does not intend to target or discredit any individual, organization, or nation. Its purpose is not to determine what is definitively right or wrong, but to encourage thoughtful reflection and highlight lessons we can learn from current events. Please watch with an open mind, reflect thoughtfully, and thank you for being part of this journey with us. Let's start with Saudi Arabia. You might think that Saudi Arabia would forever be a close ally of the US, especially with their decades-long relationship built on oil and security. But guess what? Saudi Arabia is quietly shifting its focus, and it's all about aligning with China and Russia under the growing influence of BRICS. Why? The rise of China as a global economic powerhouse has made Saudi Arabia rethink its dependence on US support. With energy deals, economic cooperation, and new trade routes on the horizon, they're exploring ways to diversify their alliances. You'd be shocked to find out that this major oil producer is now distancing itself from Washington's grip. How will this affect the global energy market? Stick around as we dive deeper into how this dramatic change is reshaping the Middle East. Remember to watch until the end for our full analysis and conclusions. Now, let's discuss Iran. You won't believe this, but Iran has been ditching the US for years, and 2025 could be the year they officially join BRICS. After being hit with a barrage of US sanctions, Iran has been searching for ways to avoid the stranglehold Washington has over its economy. And what better way to do that than with BRICS? The real shocker? Iran has already signed economic agreements with Russia and China, and they're pushing for stronger ties with Brazil and India. But guess what? This move isn't just about economics. It's about reasserting independence and building a stronger defense alliance outside of US influence. You might be thinking, Iran, really? But their desire to join BRICS signals a massive geopolitical shift. What does this mean for global security? Let's break it down. Before we move forward, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're bringing you more explosive insights on global shifts. Stay tuned to keep up with the ever-changing world. Ready for another jaw-dropper? Let's dive into the next country, Turkey, that's making waves in this geopolitical shift. Stay tuned. Imagine waking up to hear that one of your oldest allies is no longer on your side. Turkey, a member of NATO and a longtime partner of the US, is making a shocking pivot towards BRICS. But guess what? This move isn't just about political disagreements. It's about Turkey's deepening relationship with Russia and China, especially after years of frustration with US policies. You won't believe it, but Turkey has already been making strategic shifts for years. While the US has been critical of Turkey's military dealings with Russia, especially over S-400 missile defense systems, Turkey is forging stronger economic ties with China and Russia. And guess what? It's not stopping there. Turkey's focus on energy independence, infrastructure projects, and trade with BRICS countries is making waves. But here's the real kicker. Turkey is not just shifting its alliances, it's actively seeking a more influential role in the global economy. They're eyeing the BRICS group to diversify their markets, particularly through China's Belt and Road Initiative. This could completely change the balance of power in the region. What does this mean for U.S. influence in Europe and the Middle East? Stick around to find out how Turkey's move could rock the boat. Hold up. Did you ever think that Argentina could ditch the U.S. for BRICS? Well, guess what? That's exactly what's happening in 2025. It's hard to imagine Argentina, with its deep economic ties to the West, suddenly joining forces with Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. But it's happening, and it could reshape the South American continent. You won't believe this, but Argentina's economy has been struggling for years under the weight of inflation, debt, and lack of stability. As a result, they've been looking for new partners to help boost their financial future. Enter BRICS. With China already deeply invested in Argentina's infrastructure and trade, Argentina is now leaning heavily into BRICS for economic cooperation, especially when it comes to energy, trade, and currency swaps. But guess what? Argentina's move towards BRICS is about more than just survival. It's about asserting sovereignty. They want to break free from the grip of the US dollar and the IMF, and in joining BRICS, they're looking to tap into new markets and strengthen their role in the global economic system. This shift could change the dynamics of South American geopolitics forever. You won't want to miss how this unfolds. Before we move forward, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're bringing you the most mind-blowing insights into global shifts, so don't miss out. Stick with us to keep up with the fast-paced world of international relations. Ready for the next shocker? Keep watching as we dive into Indonesia, a country that's rapidly making waves in the geopolitical shift toward BRICS. Have you ever thought Indonesia would choose BRICS over its long-standing ties with the West? Well, guess what? It's happening, and the shift is monumental. Indonesia, with its bustling economy and strategic location in Southeast Asia, is ready to leave behind its historical reliance on the U.S. and embrace the growing influence of BRICS. You won't believe it, but Indonesia, the largest economy in Southeast Asia, has been working behind the scenes to align itself with China and Russia, two powerful BRICS members. As Indonesia's economic ties with the West have cooled, its partnerships with China in infrastructure and trade have grown significantly. But that's not all. The country's Belt and Road Initiative projects and China's growing influence in Indonesia's resource-rich areas are making waves in the region. And guess what? Indonesia is not just following China's lead. It's pushing to strengthen its role within BRICS. They are looking for new opportunities in energy, defense, and technology, positioning themselves as a key player in this new economic alliance. This shift could completely alter the balance of power in Southeast Asia. You might be asking, what does this mean for the U.S. in the region? Well, this move is a clear signal of Indonesia's desire for greater sovereignty in the face of global economic pressures. Stick around as we explore how this seismic shift will impact global politics. Let's consider Egypt. Hold up. Did you ever think Egypt, with its long history of ties to the U.S. and the West, could ditch the U.S. for BRICS? Well, you won't believe this, but it's happening in 2025. Egypt, strategically located at the crossroads of Africa and the Middle East, has been turning away from traditional Western alliances and is now gravitating toward BRICS. But why? Egypt's economy has been under extreme pressure in recent years, with soaring debt, inflation, and an energy crisis. To weather these challenges, Egypt has started looking to China, Russia, and other BRICS nations for support. These countries are not only offering financial aid, but also strategic military cooperation, all of which have become increasingly attractive to Egypt's leadership. And guess what? Egypt is also looking to diversify its partnerships beyond the West, focusing on boosting trade with BRICS nations. They've been pursuing infrastructure development projects with China, along with energy deals with Russia, making it clear that BRICS offers a more secure and stable path forward. But what does this mean for U.S. influence in the region? You'll be shocked to find out how this geopolitical shift will play out and what it means for the future of the Middle East and Africa. Stay tuned as we explore Egypt's new direction. Ready for another mind-blowing update? Stay tuned as we break down the latest on Algeria and its dramatic shift toward BRICS. You won't believe the impact this will have on the North African region. Imagine a country that has long been a strategic ally of the West, suddenly pivoting away from decades of partnerships. That's exactly what's happening with Algeria in 2025. You won't believe this, but Algeria, one of the most resource-rich nations in Africa, is shifting its focus to BRICS, leaving the US and Europe behind in a surprising turn of events. You'd be shocked to know that Algeria, once heavily dependent on Western trade and military partnerships, is now seeking to increase its ties with China and Russia. But guess what? Algeria's government has been quietly deepening its connections with the BRICS nations, eyeing opportunities in infrastructure projects, energy trade, and defense cooperation. Over the years, China has become a major player in Algeria's energy sector, helping develop oil and gas resources, while Russia has been offering arms and military support. But it's not just about economics and defense. Algeria has long struggled with political instability and internal divisions, and this shift towards BRICS offers a way out of the growing pressure from the West. By joining BRICS, Algeria can gain a stronger foothold in the global political arena. Russia's influence in the Mediterranean, combined with China's vast economic resources, makes BRICS an appealing alternative to the traditional Western influence that has shaped Algeria's foreign policy for decades. And guess what? This shift will also impact the global oil market. Algeria, as one of the top oil producers in Africa, will now be aligning itself with nations like Russia and Brazil, shifting the balance of power in energy production. For decades, the US has been a key player in Algeria's oil sector, but with the new BRICS alliance, this relationship could diminish over time. As Algeria deepens its relationship with BRICS, it could eventually challenge Western dominance in the global energy market. You might think that Algeria's decision would isolate it, but in fact, this strategic move positions it to play a pivotal role in the global energy conversation. Algeria's membership in BRICS would also pave the way for more trade deals with countries outside the West, offering access to new markets, better investment opportunities, and economic stability. As the world continues to shift, Algeria's entry into the BRICS alliance will have profound effects on geopolitics and economics in the years to come. You won't want to miss how this unfolds. Will Algeria's bold move change the future of African politics? Stay tuned, because things are only getting started. Now let's turn our attention to Nigeria, Africa's largest economy. You won't believe what's happening in the political and economic landscape of this powerhouse in 2025. Nigeria, once deeply aligned with the US and the West, is now eyeing BRICS, a shift that could completely alter the balance of power in West Africa and beyond. But guess what? Nigeria has been quietly moving away from its reliance on the West, turning instead to China, Russia, and other BRICS nations. Over the past few years, the country has been growing closer to China, signing major infrastructure deals under China's Belt and Road Initiative. But that's just the beginning. With Russia providing military support and China boosting its trade and investments in critical sectors like oil and gas, Nigeria is positioning itself for a larger role in the global economy. You'd be shocked to learn that Nigeria's decision to move closer to BRICS isn't just about economics, it's also about strategic positioning. In recent years, Nigeria's government has faced significant pressure from the West over issues like human rights abuses and corruption. This pressure has led to growing dissatisfaction with Western influence. By joining BRICS, Nigeria is not only seeking greater economic opportunities, but also distancing itself from the West's political scrutiny. And guess what? Nigeria's potential membership in BRICS could reshape the African continent's relationship with global powers. As Africa's largest oil exporter, Nigeria's resources are increasingly coveted by BRICS nations. China is already a major player in Nigeria's oil sector, and with Russia eyeing greater access to Africa's natural resources, BRICS becomes an appealing platform for Nigeria to secure more favorable trade terms. This new alignment could also bring Nigeria closer to India, another emerging BRICS member, creating opportunities for collaboration in technology, agriculture, and energy sectors. The impact of Nigeria's move to BRICS will be felt far beyond its borders, potentially signaling a shift in African geopolitics that could challenge the traditional dominance of Western powers on the continent. But you might be wondering, could Nigeria's alliance with BRICS signal the beginning of a larger trend in Africa, with other nations following suit? The consequences of this shift could be far-reaching, affecting everything from energy markets to military alliances. Finally, let's look at Bangladesh, a country you wouldn't expect to be making waves in the global political sphere, but here we are. In 2025, Bangladesh is rapidly shifting its alliances, and you won't believe where it's heading. Once considered a traditional ally of Western nations, Bangladesh is now aligning itself with BRICS, and the reasons behind this move are nothing short of shocking. You might be thinking, why would a country like Bangladesh, with its close ties to Western trade and aid, suddenly shift gears? But guess what? Bangladesh's economic growth over the last decade has been nothing short of miraculous. With booming textile exports and a rapidly growing economy, Bangladesh is now looking to expand its influence beyond the West. China has been increasing its investment in Bangladesh, especially in infrastructure projects under its Belt and Road Initiative, and you know what that means. This is Bangladesh's way of securing access to more global markets, and BRICS offers just that. You'd be shocked to learn that Bangladesh's government is looking to increase its strategic partnerships with Russia and China for key infrastructure projects like roads, ports, and energy plants. In fact, Bangladesh's decision to join BRICS will put it on the fast track to gain better trade agreements and infrastructure investments. But it's not just about money. It's also about positioning itself as a major player in South Asia and taking a stance against the overwhelming influence of Western powers. And here's something you probably didn't know. Bangladesh is already seeing the benefits of this shift. With China's increasing economic influence in the region, Bangladesh is now able to sidestep some of the diplomatic pressures it faced from Western nations regarding human rights and labor laws. By joining BRICS, Bangladesh is signaling its desire to strengthen economic ties with emerging global powers, making it less reliant on the West. As Bangladesh moves closer to BRICS, it's making bold moves on the global stage. With its growing economic influence and strategic geographic location, Bangladesh is setting itself up as a crucial hub in South Asia. This shift in alliances will undoubtedly affect the global political and economic landscape. Conclusions. So, what can we conclude from these dramatic shifts? The world order as we knew it is undeniably changing. The magnetic pull of the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, is growing stronger, attracting countries traditionally aligned with the US and the West. This isn't just a random occurrence. It's driven by a complex mix of factors. Economic necessity plays a huge role, as nations like Argentina, Egypt, and Nigeria grapple with debt, inflation, and instability, seeking alternative partnerships for growth, trade, and investment. The sheer economic might of China, particularly through initiatives like the Belt and Road, offers opportunities that are hard to ignore. Geopolitical strategy is another key driver. Countries like Iran, Turkey, and Algeria are actively seeking to reduce their dependence on the US, assert greater sovereignty, and build new defense and political alliances outside the Western sphere of influence. Sanctions, political pressure, and historical frustrations with US policies are pushing these nations toward what they perceive as a more multipolar world offered by BRICS. Even long-standing US allies like Saudi Arabia and South Korea are reassessing their positions, driven by China's economic rise and a desire to diversify their partnerships and hedge against geopolitical uncertainties. This trend signifies more than just shifting allegiances. It points towards the emergence of a powerful economic and political bloc capable of challenging the traditional dominance of the US and its Western allies. The implications are vast, potentially reshaping global energy markets, trade routes, military balances, and the very fabric of international relations. The move towards BRICS isn't uniform. Each nation has its unique motivations, but the collective trend indicates a significant rebalancing of global power is underway, accelerating as we head towards 2025. The era of unchallenged U.S. dominance seems to be waning, replaced by a more complex multipolar world where alliances are fluid and strategic interests dictate new partnerships. Thank you for watching.